Yeah, everyone. So today we are looking at a question like that. Now, when I see that it is a fraction, I will quickly write down burp for me right now. Okay, so that's the first thing that I will do. Then, of course, from here, just for your information, B stands for B and A, E stands for equating numerators, P stands for part-whole relationship, F stands for fractions with units. This is multiplication in fractions. We have remainder of remainder, and finally we have something called number x value. You see, when all of these are here, it helps you to think about the concept because the moment you know the concept, you know the action. For this question, is definitely a B and A. How am I able to classify so quickly? Because of the word sold. Okay, so first thing first, Miss Shirley, she had some red and green apples for sale, so she wants to sell, right? She wants to sell some green and red apples. Okay, so we'll have red over here and green over here. We learn that she actually did something, right? She had some red and green apples, so maybe she's a, fruit stall owner, right? She decided to sell 3 over 4 of her red, so we minus 3 over 4. Okay? When we minus 3 over 4, we realize that for green has to be minus 1 over 4. Why is that so? Because 3 over 4 of the apples sold were red. That means red is 3 over 4. The hidden information here is for green, which is 1 over 4, and that is for sold. And we also learned that she sold 240 red apples. So this is a big hint for me, right? That means to say whatever that is over here is 240. So from here itself, you can also quickly find one, right? With 1 unit, right? So 3 units is 240. Okay, 1 unit in this situation, of course, we know that it's 80. So 80 green was sold. The question also then went on to say she also sold 2/5 of her apples, which means to say everything over here is 2/5, everything over here is 5 over 5, everything over here is 3 over 5. Okay, then the question went on to say that 3 over 8 of the apples left unsold. Where's that? That is basically everything over here, right? We know that that is basically how much? 3 over 8. So we can confidently write down 3 over 8 first. If this is 3 over 8, this will be 5 over 8. Okay, now a lot of you will get very confused because, oh, what am I supposed to do when it comes to this, right? Now, but don't forget, you already have the value. If you already have the value, right, what you want to do is quickly tell us that this is 240 plus 80, which is equals to 320. All right, if this 320, so my 5 over 5 will then be very simple. We will say 2 parts is equals to 320, 1 part is equals to 160. Okay, and then we have 5 parts. 5 parts is equals to 800. So this itself is 800. Of course, we are going to minus away 320. When we do that, we will get to an answer of 480. So this is 480. Now, we know that this plus this is equals to 480. That gives me, so for this itself, we can call this 5x. We can call this 3x, right? We can say 8x is going to be 480. So x is going to be 480 divided by 8, which is equals to 60. Okay? Of course, the question wants us to find at first. Okay, no problem. Let's find out what is this. This is 180. This will be 300. So we just have to work backwards. This is 540. And we work backwards once more. This is 260. And that's how you would do a question like this. Everyone, so we are looking at a question like that. The moment I see that it's fractions, I quickly write down verb for me right now. Okay? All right. So in my earlier part of this video, I have already, talked about the different the different concepts that is over here. And these are the only concepts that they can test you in PSLE. All right. So we know that we have a group of students. Okay, and these are the students who went for a quiz. What they did was they went to group them up in terms of boys and in terms of girls. When I look at the boys, I know that boys, of course, if you were to go for a quiz, there will be people who will win and people who will lose. For girls, same thing. Win, lose. Okay? We know that for boys, 2/5 of the boys, that means 2/5 of the total were prize winners. That means 3 over 5. This is where we can automatically assume that this is my hidden information, which in this scenario is going to be 3 over 5, right? So you see, what's happening right here is that this is one group. When they are of the same group, it's almost as if like they are of the same family. And if they are of the same family, you must use the same surname. In math, the same surname means must be units. Okay? To make it even clearer for you, I will use the same color. Okay, so right now, they are of the same family. This is one family. So you will not use 2 unit and 3 parts because they are of the same family. So therefore, the surname has to be the same. So when I go to girls, definitely it's a different family altogether, right? What happens is that 1/3 of the girls were prize winners. So we know 1/3. This is one family. This is 2/3, which is one family. Girls is one family. You get what I'm trying to say? Then I moved on and I realized the question gets a bit odd, right? Why? Because the question went on to say what? 4/9 of the prize winners were boys. So what are they trying to tell you here? They are actually trying to regroup them. Okay, they are actually trying to regroup them. What do I mean by that? Let's go to prize winners only. All right, and we realized that for prize winners, and they are boys, it has to be 4/9. So this is 4/9. You see, in this situation, they are just grouping the prize winners together, meaning to say this one is now one family or one group, and this one is now one family or one group. If this is 4/9, we definitely cannot say 4 units. Okay, what we will have to do is to say that this is 4. If I've already used parts, I've already used units, this must be 4x. So this is one group. Now I'm regrouping them, right? Based on the question, this is 5/9, which is one family, and this is 5x. Okay, so in every math question, it's a lot about grouping and then regrouping and then grouping again. Your job as a student is to connect the groups together. If you can connect the groups together, that's perfect. And that's something that we are trying to work towards, okay? So from here itself, we can already form an equation. What is the equation I can form? I can confidently say that 2 units is equals to 4x. You see, the problem with units and parts and x and y is that there are too many groups going on. So units is one group, parts is one group, x is one group. In this situation, there were 3 groupings that happened. Your job is to reduce it down to one group. So if 2 units is 4x, what we can do is to simply say 1 unit will therefore be 2x. Sure, what do you mean by 3 groupings? I want you to reduce it down to 2 groupings. I want you to reduce it down to 1 group. Okay, so 3 groupings. Why is it 3 groupings? Because we have units, part, and x. We are going to now remove away units so that we are left with parts and x. My job now is to just make sure that it's only x. Okay, so I'm converting everything. So my 3 units, instead of writing it as 3 units, I'll write as 6x. So 3 units is also equals to 6x. Okay, then now I will look at parts. I'll look at parts. I will say, since 1 part is equals to 5x, 2 part is equals to 10x. So therefore, I now will change this to 10x. You see, all I need to do now is not to be confused by, units, parts, and x. No, now I can confidently just fix my eyes on this one group. Fix my eyes on this one group. That means to say, for boys, a total of 10x. For girls, a total of 15x. That means the total number of students in this situation will be 25x. Which means to say, I can quickly solve the question. The question say, what fraction of the students were not prize winners? Students, you should know this. It's always were over of. What's my were not prize winners. So not prize winners over the total, which is the number of students. Not prize winners in this situation basically means losers. 6x, 10x, let's add them up together. 6x plus 10x. And we have our total as per the number of students. So that is 25x, which then will get me to 16x over 25x. Of course, you must ask yourself whether if I can reduce, the only thing that I can cancel is x and x. Anything else I can reduce from here? Nope. So that's the reason why your answer for this question has to be 16 over 25. Goodbye.